Let's get started, everybody. Hopefully you ran and got some socks for yourself and also have 2 blocks nearby. I think we'll make use of them today. Last class, we worked with Koundenyasana 1, which is a twisted variation. Today, we're going to be doing Koundenyasana 2, which is the untwisted variation. For some people, the twisted variation is easier, and some people, the untwisted variation is easier, depending on your patterns of flexibility, strength, and body awareness. So today we'll be working with, we need to develop flexibility of the inner thighs. We definitely need to develop the ability to lean forward and resist that lean. So shifting your body weight forward towards the front of the mat or towards your fingertips in front of you, and then gripping the ground. The push element is important in this pose, but it is not as important as many of the others. As it is a little bit more of a neutral shoulder position typically. You can do it with more push element, but it's typically a more flattened posture and more like chaturanga at the bottom versus a plank. And that's because we need a shelf for our arms. Come to all fours, hands and knees. And take a moment to just shift your body weight side to side, saying hello to the wrists. And as you shift away, push through the fingers and through the hand so your heel of your hand starts to rise up. And then eventually start to initiate the push. Initiate, your body leans, then you push. You can eventually kind of lean less and push more. Still leaning and shifting your body weight side to side, but pushing more. And really pushing off of the fingers here. Okay, now pause. Move your weight back so your arms are not vertical. And then lift the heels of the hands up. I suggest coming all the way to the fingertips, then slowly lower to the metacarpals, very slowly. Then slowly lower the heel of the hand down. Now heel of the hand up, metacarpals up, all the way up top. Slowly metacarpals, heel of the hand. The metacarpals are where the fingers meet the hand. That's the metacarpals. That's the head of the metacarpals, I should say. It's where that's what I'm talking. When I say metacarpals, I mean the heads of the metacarpals, where the finger meets the hand. Okay, so we do these push-ups, and these hand push-ups are what are going to develop your strength in your forearms for resisting. It doesn't help you to lean, but as a byproduct of becoming stronger in the hands, you're more likely to trust that when you lean, you won't fall over, and you'll have the strength to stop yourself from leaning. And as a result, you'll be more willing to lean, okay? And so as a byproduct of becoming stronger, you will likely learn or be more willing to lean, okay? So that should be a nice warm-up for your forearms, and really started back quite a bit because that takes less weight on the hands. Eventually you can do this here, and I'm not going to ask you to do it right now as a warm-up because it's too intense on the wrist, but in my handstand training 1 and 2, we do those push-ups more like right here, okay? Eventually. So not now though, please. Just showing you the drill that you could use. Come to down dog. Now in your downward facing dog, if you really want to get enlightened, this is a joke, then you want to try to do the same push-up you just did. Just go heel of the hand up, only the metacarpals and fingers on the ground. So the heel of the hand is just lifting a little bit off the ground, okay? And a lot of you will overdo that like this, where you'll break at the wrist. Try to get the forearm and the hand on one long angle right into the metacarpals, and see if you can just be there for a moment. Okay, take a full breath in and out. Walk the feet to the front of the yoga mat. Soften the knees. And I'm sure you're probably sore from these days of arm balances, so interlace your hands behind your back and snug the shoulders onto the spine, so move them together in the backside, and then stretch the hands, stretch the biceps, pectorals, the deltoids. All right, release the hands to your hips, arch the back, rise all the way up. Tadasana. Full breath in, full breath out. Reach the hands to the sun, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale to the earth. Half lift, Ardha. Left foot back, exhale. Hands to the front thigh, come up and pause. Inhale. Now, as you exhale, scoop your tailbone all the way and round the back. Keep the back leg straight the whole time if possible. Inhale, anterior tilt. You can bend a little bit to move. Arch the back and straighten the leg again. And then exhale, posterior tilt. You can bend the knee to move, but then re-straighten it once you're in posterior tilt. Inhale, anterior tilt. You can bend the knee to move, sticking the buttocks up to the sky. Exhale, posterior tilt. Inhale, anterior tilt. One last time. Exhale, posterior tilt. Okay. Let's keep the hands on the thigh, lean forward, and see if you can pause here like when you're about to launch off as if you're going to step forward. Stick your bum up to the sky like this, and so you can lift your left leg up to the sky. Okay, so supported warrior 3, take a full breath in and out. One more, full breath in. And as you exhale, slowly lower the bend by bending the right knee. Fingertips to the ground. Inhale, straighten through the front leg, look forward. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, bend the front knee. Downward facing dog, exhale. Plank pose, inhale. Exhale, lower. Slide the hands wide, fingertips. Inhale, lift the front body. Soften the midsection down. Lift the back of the neck. Lift up through the back ribs. Exhale. All fours. Tuck toes. Exhale, down dog. Right leg to the sky. Exhale, bend, knee open, hip. Enjoy a breath into the right side. And a breath out. Straighten the leg, inhale, square the hip. Step right foot forward. Inhale, rise, high lunge. Open Virabhadrasana 2. Let's hold here. Move the groins back, the seat back, and then draw your feet toward each other. Let's find the adductors, the inner thighs. So the key elements today are inner thigh strength, anterior tilt, adductor squeezing in, and internal rotation also. Okay, so squeeze in. We won't be doing anterior tilt right now just yet. I'll get back to that in a second. Two more breaths. reverse warrior. Exhale, hands to the ground. Step forward, half lift. Exhale, bow. Bend the knees, chair pose. Stand, hands to heart. Second side, inhale, chair pose, sit back and down. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Half lift, inhale. Step the right foot back. Hands to the front thigh, come up and pause. Come into posterior tilt, scoop the tailbone. Inhale, anterior tilt. Again, you can bend your knee to move, but once you're in the position, then straighten the back leg. And then as you exhale, posterior tilt, round, then straighten the back leg. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, one more anterior tilt. And exhale. Actually, let's stay, in anterior tilt. Come forward, keeping your hands there. Drag your back foot, look forward. Now press down through the front heel and use your back buttocks to lift the back leg up. And this is part of the key. Use that little bit of anterior tilt, which gives you your back muscle activation, your QL, your erector spinae group. Okay, those muscles help to keep the pelvis lifted. And then you follow that action by lifting your back leg with the strength of your gluteus muscles and hamstrings. Okay, one more full breath in. And then slowly bend the standing knee to place the right foot down, fingertips to the ground. Inhale, look forward, straighten through the front leg. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, bend the front knee. Step down dog. Forward to plank. Exhale, lower chaturanga. Slide the hands and feet wide. Inhale. Soften. Relax into it. Shoulders back. Midsection forward. Inhale, lift. Midsection up. Through the crown of the head. Exhale and release. All fours. Exhale, down dog. Left leg to the sky, inhale. Bend the knee, open up your hip. Hold here for a full breath in. And out. Straighten the leg on the inhale, square the hip. Step forward. Inhale, rise, high lunge. Open warrior two. Hold here, move the groins and the seat back. Draw your feet toward each other and the arms out to the sides. As we pull our feet toward each other, the inner thighs are activating. Let's do a couple more breaths. One more breath. Reverse warrior, inhale. And exhale, hands to the ground. Pivot the back heel up, step forward, inhale. Exhale, bow forward. Bend the knees, Utkatasana, chair pose. Stand on up, hands to heart. Chair pose, Utkatasana. This time, let's take a twist. Left tricep, right thigh. Pause here. A little rounding of the back and turn the navel. Two more breaths. One more. Now, keep the pose, just look down at the ground and lift your left heel up. Slide or glide or step slowly your left foot into a hovered position. It's warrior three, twisted, revolved warrior three, I suppose. And then slowly lower, big toe mound, hold. Lift the midsection up, turn the belly. Let's do 2 more breaths. All right, unwind on the inhale. You're going to take your hands to the inside of your right foot. This should give you a nice preparation for this pose here. Should feel quite good. Move the groins back, inhale, half lift. And we're going to bend the elbows out to the sides and bow to a warrior two variation of lizard pose. Start to get the inner thighs and hamstrings of the front leg a little more awake. If you want more movement, I suggest on the inhales you lift up like so. And on the exhales, it's a slow bow. If you want more stillness, just stay down, breathing and pulling your feet toward each other. All right, walk the hands back to the center. Pivot the back heel up, straighten through the front leg, and bow over your straight front leg. Let's enjoy a full breath in and out. 2 more. Bend the front knee. Step to down dog. Forward to plank pose, inhale. Lower. Slide the hands and feet wide. Inhale, lift the front body. Soften. Pressing the low ribs forward. Stretch the back of the neck all the way up. Exhale, release. All fours. Adho Mukha Svanasana, down dog. 1 full breath in. And breath out. Right leg to the sky on the in-breath. Step right foot forward. High lunge, inhale, nice and tall. Open warrior two. Reverse warrior. Side angle preparation. Forearm to the thigh. Move the groins back. Pull your feet toward each other. Holding that, start to slide your right fingers to the inside of your right foot or onto a block. Now create a little bit of posterior tilt, especially from the right buttocks. Scoop the right sit bone underneath and towards the back of your right knee. So move the right buttocks underneath. It's just going to give you a little more space to start to turn the belly and the chest. Now, in this position here, I suggest for our purposes today is you push your right shoulder out into the knee and then squeeze your right knee back into the shoulder. You're gonna have to probably put more effort in the shoulder just because the leg is probably stronger than the arm. But see if you can just kind of get that connection, the arm and knee into each other. Okay, and hopefully that gets your right adductors active. Keeping that, slowly turn your belly and your chest, left hand to the sky. Let's just do a few more breaths. Last breath. All right, release the hands. Pivot the back heel up. We're going to come to Malasana squat pose. Inhale, step forward. Feet turned out. Sit on down. Now, take your elbows to the inside of your knees and push outward. Now, what that will do is your hips will start to lift upward. That's a good thing. Let's keep the hips lifted. And now squeeze your knees into your arms. And watch how I squeeze. When I squeeze inward, there's nowhere to go. And there's no, like if my arms are pushing outward, there's nowhere to go but upward with the hips. So I push outward with the arms, I squeeze inward with the knees. The feet are on the ground so they can't move, but there's nothing above me holding me down, so my body rises up. Inward brings you upward. Okay, so hold here while we warm up the inner thighs, the adductors, squeezing the inner thighs, or squeezing the knees or the inner thighs into the arms. As a result, you should feel your groin muscles, your deep inner thigh muscles. Let's do one more breath. All right, fingertips to the ground, turn the toes in. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and bow. Let's do a couple more like that. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and bow. Inhale. And exhale. All right, so bend the knees. Hips back, chest up. Inhale, reach the arms, chair pose. Twist to the left. Okay, while twisting to the left here, we're gonna stay for a few breaths. So round the upper back and turn the belly, lift the heart. So I sit a little bit lower. The breath is in the back of the heart where there's space. We're not here for the twist necessarily, so no need to get too detailed with it. We're here just to warm up the left buttocks, left hamstring. So now look down. Now slide your right foot back, try to glide it. Maybe you can keep it lifted. Right into this twisting warrior 3. Slowly bend the left knee. Lunge preparation, pause. Collect yourself. Inhale, lift the front body up. Exhale, twist. Try to keep your right hip opening. And the right hip will tend to close with the twist. If you try to keep it opening, it will force your left buttocks to activate, which is really what we're going for, activating the left hip muscles so that when we unwind for our Warrior 2 lizard variation, we're a little more prepared for it. Okay, so unwind. Take the hands now to the inside. The back heel comes down. Sit the hips back a little bit. Hands fairly wide. Okay, we take an inhale with the hips back. And exhale, bow. You can gently pull your feet toward each other. Either stay here or create some movement. walk the hands back, pivot the back heel up, inhale, straighten through the front leg. And this time we bow. Enjoy. All right, bend the front knee. Down dog. Unfold into plank pose. Now place the knees on the ground and let's get a little more awake to our upper body and how we can lean our body weight. So on all fours, grip your fingers into the ground. I'm going to suggest placing the block behind your forearm, which is very hard to do and get it right, like meaning so that it's vertical here. Okay, now if I lean back, the block goes off on a diagonal. You see that? Now if I lean forward, the block comes vertical. I'd like you to do that a few times, but as you lean forward, you're going to grip the ground more, fingers resist, and even push a little bit more. Okay, then lean back. Now I should warn you that when you lean forward, you grip the ground and you push more, that push and gripping will send you back again. So it's a delicate balance of keeping your body weight forward, resisting that movement, but ultimately allowing that shift forward to happen. That's why balancing in arm balance is so hard, because it's allowing yourself to shift forward, but not allowing yourself to fall forward. So just a little bit of back. See, I'm leaning back on the diagonal. I'll show you from the side. It might be a little bit easier. See, this is the block is now on an angle. My arms are on an angle. That means my body weight is in my knees. If I lean forward, the block is vertical. Sometimes I can go even past it. Fingers are gripping. Upper body's pushing. Okay. Then I lean back to release some of that. Forward, push, grip. But you see, when I push and I grip, I sometimes push myself too far back. So I have to keep it, then intentionally move back. Okay, so that exercise of shifting your body weight forward and back while gripping and pushing is like the most important thing that you'll need for this arm balance, but for most arm balances, is that skill of lean, grip, push. A lot of people will say, like, you know, my wrist hurt in arm balances. Well, you're probably doing the first step right, leaning, but you're not gripping and pushing. And the pushing from the upper body is so important too, because it really aligns the whole muscular system appropriately. You have to grip the ground. You also have to push. This question is, how much do you push depending on the arm balance, okay? But gripping, it's got to be strong. Otherwise, you just won't feel good in your wrists. These muscles will wrap around the wrist, creating strength, of course, to stop you from falling over. But it aligns the joint in such a way that makes it feel nicer on the joints. Okay, so let's continue forward, and that's just something that you can work on all fours. Eventually, you can work on in plank like so. Leaning, gripping, pushing, okay? But it'll tire you out, so I figured we'd just stop there for now. I don't want you burning out before we get to the pose. Slide the hands wide, inhale, lift the front body. Exhale, soften. Inhale, stretch the abdomen, lift the heart. Exhale, release. All fours, hands and knees. Tuck toes, exhale, down dog. Left leg to the sky. Step. Rise, high lunge. Warrior two. Reverse. Side angle, preparation. Slide the hips back. Pull your feet toward each other. And use your left buttocks to tuck underneath a little bit. Okay, with that, slide the left hand down. Now I'm saying tuck the tailbone right now just to get the buttocks warmed up, the hamstrings warmed up, because when you scoop your sit bone, it warms up the hamstrings, it activates the hamstrings and the buttocks, and we want that for now. But the action you'll be doing later is actually the opposite. I'm just calling that out now so we don't get confused, because I am going to ask you to do the exact opposite. I'm going to ask you to do more anterior tilt in a moment. But for right now, keep it tucked. Let's warm up these muscles, and then we'll get back to anterior tilt. Right hand to the sky. So scooping the tailbone to warm the muscles up and pressing your left foot down and dragging your feet toward each other. When muscles are warm, they're much more likely to lengthen when we ask them to. Just like anything, really, if you think of putting a rubber band in a freezer and then you pull it apart, it's going to just tear right away. But in a warm climate, the rubber band can be more elastic. Same thing with our muscles. All right, release the hands. Pivot the, what am I missing here? I apologize, what am I missing? Anyway, I think we'll step forward. I apologize if I'm missing something, let me know. Or just do it yourself on your own mat. Bow forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bow. Oh, I know what I'm missing. Malasana, squat. Come on down. Hey. You're all like, darn. Take your hands to the inner knees, push outward, and squeeze inward with the knees. So the arms push out, knees squeeze in. So you get your adductors toned. Now what you can do here is lift your hips up a little bit higher than you normally would, and see if you can once your hips are up high, about the height of the knees, you can then start to think about anterior tilt of the pelvis. And really mostly activating the low back muscles, okay? So sticking your bum to the sky, but still squeezing the knees inward. So it's a strong activation of the inner thighs right now. The hips are quite lifted compared to normal squat pose. Keep squeezing in with the legs, lifting up with the buttocks. All right, and then stand up, turn the legs in. Hallelujah. Let's interlace the hands behind the back. Other finger on the outside, so other pinky on the outside. Stretch the shoulders. All right, hands to the hips. Rise up, stand. Here's what we're gonna do. Let's get a bunch of postures going here that will really help us. Turn the toes out, bend the knees, place the hands on the inner knees, push out to start, and then stick your bum up to the sky. More anterior tilt, show you from the side angle. Oops, wrong. No camera on that one. So buttocks up, maybe I go a little bit further forward, show you this way. So you get here, your hands are pushing out, and then you do anterior tilt. Here's posterior tilt like this. I'll move my arms so you can see. And here's anterior tilt. So get your anterior tilt going where your low back muscles are active, and sit low. Now, chest lifted like a back bend, and squeeze your heels toward each other without the knees moving. Keep them right where they are. Okay, I gotta release my hamstring a little bit, it's ripping, okay. Now, as you pull your feet toward each other, you can even press your knees in to your arms, or you can just squeeze in without your hands, knees don't move, arms out to the side. Trying to get your lumbar, your low back in an arched position. You can put your hands back there and check. See that your lumbar, your low back muscles surrounding the low back are active. While the knees are wide, but squeezing in isometrically. Isometrically means no movement happens, but you can feel the activation of the muscles as if you were about to move. All right, and rise up. Happy day. Let's pivot. Got a little itch on my knee. Ow. I think my pants just pulled out a hair out of my knee. Okay, your forearm on the thigh, side angle position, hips go back. Now this time, we're going to take your right arm to the inner thigh
and actually round your back a little bit to get as tight as possible in there. Okay, now squeeze your arm into your leg for resistance and squeeze your leg into your arm. See how my forearm is bent? My hand is extended here. Do the same thing with the left arm, not on your chest, but up a little bit above. And you're gonna be miming as if the ground is in front of your face. Okay, this is from this angle. This is the arm balance. I'm not like this, like this. You see the difference? Not like this, like this. Okay, I'm also not like this, as if I'm in the arm balance itself. Elbows are fairly wide in this arm balance, okay? Now, let's rise up. We'll do the other side. Happy day, bend the left knee. Groins back, hips back. And we get the left arm low here, but round your back a little bit. It'll get you even tighter if you round your back slightly. Then your arm pushes out into your knee. Your knee squeezes back into the arm so that the inner thighs activate. If your back hip is pressing forward too much, it won't work. Move your hips back, and the knee squeezes into the arm into the knee, and then we take our arm balance position here. Again, there's some width between the hands, but you're miming the pose. The ground is here, so you gotta make sure you're putting your hands on the ground, not like so. You'd be face planting, right? So there's a 90-degree angle at your forearms. This arm is not on your chest, and it's also not up here somewhere like this. Boom, right in front, as if you're in the arm balance. All right, up we go. Okay, so let me think, what was I just about to do? All right, let's get to a wall. I hope I have enough. I've got a lot of things going on in my head right now that I want to share. Okay, at a wall, you take your hands into chaturanga position, elbows outer shoulder width apart, okay? Then you take your left thigh and try to pin it to the left tricep muscle, okay? So the way that you're gonna do that to make it easy is stick your bum out and sass your hips up to the left like this. So if I'm lifting my left leg up, bum goes back and I go whoop, okay? That hip hike is a bit of anterior tilt and lateral flexion. That's gonna bring this leg up a lot closer to the arm. So hands on the wall, should be at a 90-degree angle, perpendicular. Forearm is perpendicular to the wall, okay? So I'm not up here making it easy on myself. I'm mimicking the arm balance. Grip the ground or the wall. Push a little bit so your shoulder blades move apart. Now, tippy toe of your left foot. Bend your standing knee for a second and sass your left hip up to the left and see if you can get your left knee up high. The key again is sticking your bum up anterior tilt. And I would flex the left foot, okay? So you're in this awkward shape at the wall. Okay, let's do the other side. And I'm gonna address the whole head thing close to the wall because that's gonna be head close to the ground in a second. So here we go. So butt goes back, sass it up and to the right, and take your right leg. Now, your right leg up into the arm, okay? Squeeze these oblique muscles here and the QL and the back muscles to keep this leg up. Of course, it's hip flexors as well that are keeping the leg up. Now, see if you can unwind your left shoulder and push the left arm away from the wall and look straight at the wall instead of to the right. Boom. Okay. Now, eventually, you'd have the capacity to straighten that leg. I don't think I do, but we'll try it together. Why not? Might get a nice little laugh at ourselves. So here we are, hands on the wall. Bum up and to the left, left leg up. Now, you see my right shoulder is dipping to the wall. So I'm gonna look at the wall by pushing the right shoulder away from the wall. Looking at the wall, now I'm gonna try to straighten the left leg. Whoo! That is brilliant. Darn, that feels good. And terrible all at the same time. Terrible, terribly effortful, but incredibly strengthening. Okay, so hands wide. We sass the hip up into the right. Right knee comes up. Now just check in with your left shoulder and left ear, probably dipping to the wall like mine is. Move away with the left shoulder by pushing into the left hand. Now, sassing your right hip to the right more. Try to straighten the right leg. Oh man, that is way harder on that side for me. Okay, so that's Koundenyasana 2 at the wall. Fairly challenging, I would say, if not close to excruciatingly challenging. Not painful, but challenging. All right, right knee back behind you, left foot out to the left. And let's make things a little bit easier. Go at the wall, we're fighting gravity. On the ground, the leg isn't fighting gravity, but it still has to straighten. So before we get there, let's do that little sassing of the hips. So wag your tail to the left and then lift your bum into anterior tilt. So that's gonna be your back muscles here. This is a good angle, you can see. These muscles here, the left QL, is gonna help with anterior tilt and wagging your tail to the left. So tail to the left, anterior tilt. It's a combination of the two, which is going to be very helpful. Now you can take your arms inside of the left knee, elbows on blocks to the ground, and squeeze your left leg inward, okay? Squeezing inward gives you that strength of your adductors. Now, when you straighten your leg in Ekapada Koundenyasana 2, if you focus on internal rotation of the leg, it'll be easier to straighten. If your leg is not internally rotating, it's very hard, okay? Let's come out and switch sides. Left knee goes straight back, right foot out to the right. Let's bring the hips up and to the right. So use your back muscles on the right side and bring the arms down. Now, squeeze your right leg inward. And as you squeeze your right leg inward in this position here, you start to feel your adductors toning. And like last class, there are multiple ways into Koundenyasana. One way is through momentum, another way is through this pose more or less. So this is a good preparation. Okay, come on out. I think flexibility-wise, we're there. We've done, where are we over here? We've done internal rotation in previous classes, so I assume you know what it is, but when trying to straighten a leg, turning the leg out tends to be harder. Turning the leg in tends to be easier for most people to access a straight leg. So one of the things for this posture is if you turn the leg in while you straighten it out to the side, it's going to make it more accessible. So to do that, first we'll do it in what I consider to be a much easier pose, Ashtavakrasana, eight angled pose, I believe. So you take your left leg over the arm, left hand out to the left, and then cross your right leg over top and flex your feet into each other. Now, the top leg in this scenario is the one that needs to do the internal rotation. So to do that, you can take your hands really wide, lean your chest forward. Okay, this is unrealistic, but it's going to help you to now just focus on internally rotating the leg and straightening it. You see that? This arm is just completely wackadoodle. It doesn't matter. Just turning the leg and straightening it. So you see that? Turn in the thigh bone and straighten. Okay, that's the action. Let's try on the other side. Don't worry if your hands are super wide or whatever. You just need a shelf so that you can feel what the sensation is going to be like of turning the leg on the arm. So you lean forward, turn in, your foot will lift up as a result, then straighten. And do that a few more times. And also, you're sticking your bum up, your right hip up to the sky is very helpful. Okay. Now if you do that with your legs crossed, more likely you're gonna have some access to the pose. So we, hands wide, fingers grip the ground, lean forward. Now you can pull your hips back a little bit, but turn your left leg in and straighten. Ashtavakrasana. Turn the left leg in, in, in. Okay, it's in. I can't stress that enough. Now, if the initial movement of getting your hips off the ground is really challenging, which I know many of you it will be, so watch from the side angle, watch my hips and my torso, how they work together. Okay, so I cross the legs, the leaning of the torso forward, and of course, it's a push of the arms and a pull back of the hips, a push of the arms. So if you have a sock, those of you that are struggling with this pose, put a sock on like so, okay? And just work on this, watch. Turn in, hips back. You see that? So the sock, you drag the leg, it makes it easier, and then you get that little bit of just that, even if you don't straighten the leg. Then, putting the leg on top here, then the same action is true as you're coming into Ashtavakrasana. Okay, so that's not our main pose. So now let's do, we'll do without momentum first, since many of you liked it without momentum last time for Koundenyasana 2. Sorry, Koundenyasana 1. Now we're doing Koundenyasana 2. Left arm comes out to the underneath like so. Right arm out to the side. This pose, hands are pretty wide. And your right knee, I'm going to show you with the right knee right now, you move it off to the left so that you can turn this left leg in, okay, and bum up. Now, next step is to straighten the back leg, turn the front leg in, and there you are. Okay, all you would need to do is lean forward in order to get the rise. Okay, can't stress that leaning forward enough. I'm going to show multiple angles of that. So you might be, you get playtime here, but make sure you follow the steps to make your life a lot easier. So you're in like that lizard preparation, but your left knee comes to the right in this scenario. If your right leg is forward, bring your back knee to the right. That's going to make your life easy. Okay, now what I can do is I can stretch the back leg back, and I can use a sock even. Let me show you with the sock. Also will make your life easier. So here you are. The sock can slide as you turn in. Then I have to lean forward. That forward lean is intense on the wrist. So if you're not used to this, action, just know that you may not be able to lift the back leg and the front leg up at all if you don't have that forward lean yet. Doesn't matter how strong or flexible you are in the legs, that lean has to come from shifting your body weight and trusting that your wrists are going to hold you. And don't trust blindly. Don't just say like, oh, well, I trust my wrists are going to hold me. Trust is built through repetition of proving something that they are strong enough. So better to go slowly and today not get the pose, but to just ever so slightly push the boundary and see, are my wrists strong enough? Ask the question. It's a better question. It's better to ask the question than to blindly believe that they're strong enough and then get hurt. Okay, so this is without momentum. But again, I'm going to put my sock on over here too. This whole thing done without a yoga mat is quite nice actually, because you can slide the feet. So I'm going to take the yoga mat out of the way for a second. Okay, and show you that same thing, right? So I take my hand underneath, I'm in a lizard pose. I take this leg out to the side. Now the front leg turns in, and you see how sliding it makes it a lot easier. It turns in and the bum sticks up. You see that anterior tilt there? Just like that. Okay? Now I can stretch the legs out like so. Lean forward while lifting the chest up, and then I use my back buttock muscles. But the front leg is squeezing in, turning in, activating like mad. Oh, there you are, sorry. Front leg is squeezing in, it's turning in, the inner thighs are fully active, and the back leg stretches back and up, okay? Let's see, how's everyone doing? You guys feeling all right, girls? Ladies? Everyone in the room, in the house? Give me a little holler if you have a question. Let me show you one more time on this side. Let's go another angle. Let's go straight at you. Okay, so hands wide, lizard with leg out to the side, bum up and to the right, slide the legs, turn this front leg in, bum up, then lean forward. Can you see this? Kind of. Yes. All right, so maybe we do with momentum as well. Momentum, socks not good for momentum, but blocks may be good for momentum. So another way in is your blocks. If I'm doing my left side, my blocks go on the left side as well. And my right foot steps to the left in a very short down dog. Okay, so my right foot is on the left side of the yoga mat on the blocks. Hands are wide and turned out. Left knee swings forward. Same idea, turn the leg in, stick your bum out, lean forward. And the blocks are there because it gives you a feeling of not having to lift up as high. Okay? All right, what do we got from Nina? Struggling, sweating, but having fun. Playtime indeed. So, oh, yes, blocks can be used. Answered that question. So here's the next one. On this side, where's the camera angle? Okay, so here's my regular down dog, right? The blocks are to the right, probably in front of where my right foot would be. The left foot steps on the blocks. So I'm crossing my left foot is closer now to the right side of the yoga mat. This makes life easier. Okay, then I take my right leg. Whoops, that's why you put them on the yoga mat. Exhale. Stick the bum up and to the right, turning the right leg in before stretching the leg out. Leaning forward. Okay. Right leg, front leg, whatever it is, squeeze down, turn in, then stretch out. Back leg doesn't do much until you've leaned forward, then it expands back and up. If you try to lift the back leg up too soon before leaning forward, it's just gonna keep falling heavy onto the ground. All right, hello Matt. I've always found this pose quite difficult for my free arm. Always put my elbow below my body. Any tips to avoid that? Yeah, so you can't, let me put it this way. Once you're resting on your elbow, there's no way you're gonna free it up. So you have to set the pose up without that. It's just, think of it as a different pose. It's not the same pose at all. This is more like a Mayurasana where your elbow is supporting. Whereas you see, my elbow is nowhere near, let's see if we can go from this angle. My free elbow over here, okay, is nowhere near the rest of my body. Watch that. Hands are wide, and stepping the right foot ensures, step the right foot to the left ensures, even if you're doing it more controlled, bringing the body to the left, so everything's over here, and even leaning towards this free elbow. Hold on, let me change. Free elbow. Right? In fact, like, it's really not, and I mean, definitely holding a lot of weight, but it's not holding as much weight as you would think. My elbows are splaying. More wrist strength than you need to know. External rotators of the arms. So think about dialing your hands out like you're opening jars, and that will bring the elbows in, okay? Or you can even squeeze the forearms in too. Yes, the back leg is gonna feel like it weighs 10,000 tons until you are leaning forward. So the back leg gets light. I'll even show it to you, okay, from the side angle. I'll show you in slow motion of how heavy it is until I lean forward. Okay. There's nothing wrong about using the rib cage. It's just a different pose, okay, Nikki? So anyone that's done the pose with the, resting on it, it's just more of like you would do that in breakdancing because it's easier, doesn't require muscular strength. It's just resting the body on bones. It's very intelligent for longevity and for the, being able to hold the pose for a while. It requires less muscle. But if the goal is to really become aware of your body, more understanding of how to use your muscles, then I suggest no elbow, okay? It's gonna build your strength and awareness. So let me show you how heavy the back leg is for me if I do not lean forward. Okay, but watch, leaning forward. See, I just got light. See, there's very little effort in the buttocks. It's because it's like, it's getting pulled by the rest of the body forward. Now, a lot of you may not have the strength in your wrist to lean forward, so option B is like literally place your forehead on the ground or on something soft and seesaw the body more. Okay, that's when you would do this option, as I mentioned early, where you bring your head down and your bum up, okay? Now, I personally think it's great to just build the strength of the wrist and eventually get to that point where you can lean forward. You got to just, work those forearm wrist muscles, the exercises that we've been doing routinely. And you can't do a lot of them all at once. Like you can't just do a real strong day of wrists. It has to be something that's built slowly over time because the wrist muscles are very fragile. Okay. Yeah, hands face out makes it so much easier. So last step, and I apologize, we're gonna be going overtime again, but we've got all the preparation, so I do wanna just give this to you, okay? So this is the transition for just a few of you might have access to this, so please don't feel like this is something you should be able to do by the end of this class. But over, a course of time, you might come back to this and say, oh, wow, let me see if I can do that now, okay? So give you the tools. So you go from Ashtavakrasana, probably this angle, I think, right? Ashtavakrasana. And then you slide Koundenyasana, lean. By the way, that is a lot of, when I lean, first thing I do is I stick my bum up, it's back muscles that initiates, then it's buttock muscles. So you're using like an arch position, that anterior tilt I mentioned, to get the leg off the ground, but you do have to lean forward. Okay, so I'll show that again on the other side. Another angle. Okay, you could also skip the Ashtavakrasana and just go from this position here. You bend the knee like Baddha Konasana, lean forward and slide it through. And as you're sliding it through, if you don't do something with this leg, it won't go anywhere. So watch how this leg internally rotates as I'm sliding it. Internal, it's gonna be this way, okay? So watch. Internal, 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 boom. Bum up to the sky, lean, lean, lean. Back muscles. Okay. Whoo.
That is a doozy. Now, going from this position here, you're already up, so it's keeping this leg internally rotated. Okay, where are we? Here. Okay, so I just wanted to share that for some of you that are going to be working with socks and transitions over the next lifetime. Oh, man. I'm beat. Let's do an opposite pose. So you take your hands back behind you, either bend your knees and lift up, hands turned out, or reverse plank with legs straight. Koundenyasana. All right. Ooh, yes. Grab the yoga mat. I always like to give you more of a cool down, but I'm always out of time. So, it's always good you can just pause the video and take more cool down postures, and then when you're ready, you can join in Shavasana. Any last postures that feel right to you? And Shavasana when you're ready.
attention back to your breath. Deepen the inhales and exhales. Awaken the fingers and toes. And when you're ready, you can stretch the arms. Roll to the side and come to a seated position. Take a moment for ourselves. Recognize how you feel, what you've created. And we take a moment for each other. Everyone in this community. Thank you for stepping on your mat today and practicing, and for all those that came before us that have shared the practice to serve us well. Namaste, everyone. All right, friends, thanks for being here. Thanks for practicing. It's an honor to share this practice with you. If anybody's interested in the 300-hour teacher training, please send me a message. You can email me theyogimat@gmail.com and we can discuss. Hopefully you enjoyed this experience and got some new body awareness and strength and flexibility from it. All right, and this is practice number 5, so next class we're at the halfway point. We've got a lot done, I think. I have to say, we've accomplished a lot so far in this immersion. So I'm grateful for all your questions and for you being here in the chat, and for everybody that has been participating in the Facebook group, and those of you that have shared your journey on Instagram and tagged me. I appreciate that too. Thank you so very much. Certainly supports me as much as, let's say, weird. I don't know why I came up with the message on YouTube, but it looks like we're okay. Yeah, one side is more accessible than another, says Nikki. That is totally normal. I'm sure a lot of people in here agree. Same with me. I felt it right at the wall, right? The right side was tighter and more challenging than the left side, and felt that on the ground too as well, and somewhat reverse actually. Marissa said it was a fabulous class. Thank you, Marissa. You are very welcome, everybody. Thanks for being here. Debbie, thank you. Ava, thank you. Kristen, thank you. Happy weekend to you as well. Thank you, Petty. Thanks, Nina. Your watch says highest calorie consumption in a yoga class so far. I've been monitoring it since the first immersion in March. All right, we hit that mark. Most challenging class yet. For me, too. I was definitely feeling that one. All right, folks, have a beautiful day, beautiful weekend. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate your time, appreciate your effort, appreciate your connection and communication. See you on the next one. Take care. Happy to hear that, Grace, that your heart is exploding. How beautiful.